album in 1989, which is dated in 1989 on the back of the cover. So, hint one, the hint on that album says it's Aron Records, spelled with one A, not two. And the same producer did Mississippi Memories, Sweet Mississippi Memories, which I will share another day. So I'm going to show a comparison video of a song from that called Lay Around and Love on You. Okay. Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. And I'm going to share some happy birthday wishes. Actually, I'm going to share some little, I guess we're going to call flub ups and hints from family members at the moment, and so we can have some people watching us. And happy birthday to Jesse Elvis, who turned 91 2 days ago on the 8th. And so I'm going to show some of these.
It doesn't feel distant at all. I think that our relationship, it's emotional to see him, to hear his voice.
It's emotional to see him and hear his voice. This is Riley on the Hoda show. Okay, so this is another one of Riley.
You know, me and my mom and our whole family, wherever he is.
Wherever he is. Okay, this is Priscilla on his 87th birthday, a 2022 birthday celebration.
I know he's living there. He's there, trust me.
All right, I know he's living there. He's there, trust me. Okay, here's another one. Now, this is the newest one. Listen to the tense, okay, of Jerry Schilling's introduction here. His tense.
And today he's 91.
Today he's 91. All right. So he is 91. That's what he said. And that was the other day on his birthday celebration. All right. So if Jesse Elvis was really dead, he would have been 91. But he's saying he's 91 today. All right. I thought that was interesting. I'm going to add Jim here. Hi, Jim. How are you? How you feeling?
I'm here. I'm all right. I've been sick, but I got up this morning. This morning when I got up, I was really sick. I was puking all over the place and everything else, but I'm better.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. We'll keep you in prayer. Anyway, I was just sharing this with people. This is a portion of Jerry Schilling on Elvis's birthday celebration this year.
Yeah.
I met Elvis when he was 19 years old, and today he's 91. I met Elvis
today he's 91. He didn't say in the past tense. He said currently 91. All right. So yeah. All right. So we're just going to open the floor here and say hello to some people. I know we just jumped on, and then we're going to do some reading because I'm going to try to finish the last of this chapter of her summarizing the truth about Elvis Aaron Presley in his own words. All right. I'm going to put this down so I can see everybody's comments here. Hi, Raksha. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Nan. How are you? Hi, Lady Capricorn. How are you? Very telling. Yeah. They gave it away. Ha, ha, ha. Right. And I mean, that was like, those are people there that have just said wherever he is, never talked to him about him in the past tense. Quite interesting. I have one, Elisa Marie as well, talking about her father in the present tense, but it doesn't come in very good, so I haven't been using that one. But anyway, Yeah, he'll feel. I think we lost his connection. He'll be back on when he's ready. But yeah, he hasn't been feeling well lately. So keep him in your prayers, everybody. Almost confirmation he is alive. Hi, Pamela. How are you? And he definitely is alive. Hi, Coral Moon. How are you tonight? From Australia. Judy, hi. How are you tonight? Hold on a minute. I think he's trying to get on video. I don't know why he's video chatting me here. But anyway, sorry to hear that Jim thoughts and prayers. I hope he feels better soon. Yeah, like he said, he hasn't been really feeling well lately, or he was working the last time I was on live. He'll probably join me soon. Hi, Julianne. Cool. I'm doing much better. I still have a little bit of a stuffy nose, but I think that's all part of winter time. So if Elvis showed up at GL, would have allowed him in. If he had showed up at Graceland, but she was saying that he was in there. I don't know if she meant his ghost was in there or he was alive, but it was a big mess. I mean, his 87th birthday. Yeah, I was talking about this clip, Jim, before you came on. Priscilla saying,
He's living
in
there. He's there. Trust me.
there. Of course, she's saying happy birthday to him that same year at the candlelit vigil as well.
She didn't even go to Graceland this year, I don't think, did she?
No, it's just Jerry Schilling this year, I think. I didn't watch the whole thing,
She
but
wasn't, well, there wasn't none of the family there.
yeah. Hi, hi, Julie. How are you? You watched Jerry that day. I'm so happy that he was honest. Yeah, and his story was great too. You know, he was telling him about when he met him and all that kind of thing. Hi, Rita. When is the EBS coming? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he spent his birthday with family.
Probably at someplace warm. Actually, they said it was 60 degrees at Graceland
It
this year.
was.
Huh?
Hell, it was on Christmas Day. I'm only 60 miles from Memphis. It was 75 degrees here.
Dang. You were lucky. It was white over here at this Christmas. Christmas and icy, white and icy. But anyway, thank you very much, Francis. How are you tonight?
I mean, matter of fact, today is the first day we've had any cold weather since before Christmas because it's been nice.
Ah, I got in the 40s here today, which was nice. That's warm for winter here. A nice melting.
I've been in bed all day. I don't even know what the temperature got up to today, but I know yesterday it was up in the 60s, huh? 48. Christy said it was 48 here today.
Oh, okay. Well, it was like 45 here, which was nice for a change. Hi, Rita. Oh, yeah. Hi, Barbara. Just a minute. I skipped over one. Hi, Stefan. A cigarette in your mouth. Well, he's smoking it. It's all right. I think the family may have been with Elvis on his birthday. Yeah, I think so too. I agree. I hope that he did sure spend his holidays and birthday with family. I hope he did. Yeah. Okay. It was 80 there? Oh, wow. And yuck. Okay. Wow, that looks great. All right, great. Okay, so I have a lot to read, so I'm going to get on here, and if Jim joins me, he'll get back on. Sometimes his phone goes out, and he'll come back when he's ready. All right. So 60 in Cleveland Friday morning. Now it's 30s. It's supposed to keep falling. Okay. Wow. Well, I know what we're supposed to have an ice storm tonight. So ice and rain and snow, but it was kind of like warm most of the day. So that's good for us up here in New Hampshire. All right. So I think I left off with her she was asking, let's see. She had an enormous amount of questions to ask him. So I'm just going to pick up here, and this will be it. Elvis sent 2 hair samples from 1957 and 1958 to the doctor for Christmas. He thought that would clinch the authenticity of the book, but DNA doesn't lie. He tells the doctor to be careful and discreet with the names in the book and says that Byrne doesn't want his name included. He then asks if he can do something about that, and Elvis wondered if the book could be sold through the internet. He signs off with, "Take care, your friend Jesse." So Dr. Hinton says there's no words to sufficiently describe the physical and emotional journey that he had experienced, and that the last 4 years and affected every aspect of his life, and that he was a very lucky human being. And it didn't, I didn't, all out of the love of Jesse, and asked to do it again, I would. She also asked a question here, and I think I might have missed it somehow. Let me see. Yeah, I'm sorry. I kind of jumped over. Give me a second. Anyway, so she basically asked him like different things about like what kind of vehicles you own. Do you own a motorcycle? Do you go biking with your buddies? Did you in the past, or perhaps your back could handle it? Have you traveled in your own plane since 1977? She asked, did you travel on commercial or did you use private? Did you always have your buddies or girlfriend with you when you traveled? How did you handle it when you were recognized, when someone mentioned Elvis to you? Would you tell us some of your experiences that have actually made you chuckle? When you left the Safeway store in the morning we met, what did you tell your friends? What did you where did it go? Were you laughing at me when you drove through the parking lot? Did you ever drive, or did someone of your buddies drive? And so on. She wanted to know if he had a large house with lots of bedrooms for all his employees. She wanted to know if he had any non-speaking roles in the movies after 1977. If he was actually the hobo sitting in the corner of the boxcar at the end of the movie in the Last Train to Memphis, but I think she meant the movie Finding Graceland. Now he mentioned that in is Elvis Found Alive documentary, and I don't know why she used Last Train to Memphis. But anyway, I think that was the only time he actually admitted to be a hobo. Anyway, she said, were you a bit frightened when you heard a homogeneous reward was offered to the first person who found you and proved that you were alive? How could you relax when you didn't trust the people who worked for you? Did you ever fear one or more, maybe a Judas, or were you confident that anyone who would put themselves in that situation would be despised by most of the world? All right. So she wanted to know if he had a private cook, on where does he or she live? Does he or she know who Jesse really is? It appears you have allowed more and more people to know you did not physically die in 1977. Have you ever wished you had kept more in hiding, or do you feel that you had to live as you have for Jesse to have a chance at life? This still seems a bit mind-boggling to me, but I really do not know where you're coming from. I truly do understand. She actually wanted to know if he had connection with Orion Pictures, John Cotner or Doug Church. Now, I know that on Linda Hood Sigmund's Truth, I know that she mentioned, and he had admitted to singing some Orion songs and was involved in Orion Pictures. We know that he did do some script writing, and he probably became an extra in some movies. Um, we don't know exactly all the movies that he was in, but I know that I heard that he was. And he did say something about Avatar and Elvis Found Alive. We're not sure if that's completely true or not. But since he said it was half fiction and half fact. But we're going to say that it probably had some work. I know that he did do that. I know that he did not do any work for John Cotner or Doug Church. I know that for sure. All right. So this is an enormous amount of questions, and I imagine I would have had more if I thought about it for a while, but these simply flowed out of my mind, and that's the way it is. We really want to know everything about Elvis John Jesse, not because it's any of our business, because it's not. It's simply because he touched all of our lives in such a way that we seem not to get enough. Maybe one day he will have someone answer these questions and anything else he wants us to know. And when he really is gone, we will finally know that he shared enough. Now, he did send hair samples to the doctor, but they were cut. And they couldn't use those hair samples for DNA, especially when they were doing the news broadcasts about this particular thing, because you need the root of the hair and not cut hair for DNA. But he did give them copies of hair samples. He also sent all kinds of gifts as well to them. So she was starting to cover. All right. She was All right. She also wanted to know when he stopped using John Burroughs as a name and started using Jesse, because he told her his name was John Burroughs at the Safeway store. So I think that those were the major questions that she had, and now she's going to continue to cover. So I'm just going to go over the 4 letters that were in the end of the book. Now I'm just going to put this on so we can just have like some type of graphic here. Then you don't have to keep looking at Jim smoking and me just gabbing. All right. So another letter was written by Vern. Now, Vern's letter was my favorite letter in the book, and I think it's because he actually showed a lot of information. He gave us a lot of information. So Elvis mentions Vern is mentioned a lot in the book. It is a wonderful story, a story about a man who had an unexpected experience when he met Elvis after 1977. It is actually dated in the book November of 1988. So Pepper Ritter had her experience in March of 1988. And we're looking in November of 1988, around Thanksgiving, at that time period. He had said, November of 1988 after Thanksgiving. So it was that weekend. All right. So she said, I truly believe the same would have happened to me if I would have answered an ad in the personals. The day after Thanksgiving in 1988, Vern was driving to a city that he doesn't name. He passed through a small farm town and was nearly to the highway when he noticed an elderly couple standing beside a blue pickup truck. He pulled in front of the truck to see if he could help them. He noticed that the younger man in the middle cab, he had a full head of white hair. He said the couple seemed nervous. They thanked him and said a tow truck would be there soon. And as he walked back to his vehicle, he noticed the man in the truck was now wearing sunglasses. It was late afternoon on a gray winter day. The man had his feet on the dash. He was wearing jeans and a denim jacket. Vern doesn't remember what he wore on his feet, but he thinks it was boots. I think that is strange because I can't remember what Elvis wore on his feet, and yet I too feel that he wore boots. I think that boots were something that Elvis did like to wear quite often, and he used to wear like heels on his boots as well. I know he wore boots quite often. Um, and sometimes on concerts, I think he wore boots. I can't remember, but some of the
Yeah.
pictures show him wearing boots.
He
I
wore
think
boots to raise his height up a little bit.
you're right. To make him look taller, because I think he was like 5'11", almost five, not quite 6 feet. And I think he wanted to look 6 feet. Maybe he
Yeah,
was.
he was just shy of 6 foot tall.
Right. All right. Well, curiosity Byrne knocked on the window, and the young man leaned, rolled the window down, and Byrne said, "Hey, how you doing?" And he replied, "I'd be a lot better in this damn truck is fixed, and I can't stand this cold weather." So Byrne noticed the thick southern accent, and he told the young man that he sounded like he was from the South, and he said, "Yeah, see ya," and rolled up the window. Now Byrne drove on, and however, he became curious, so he pulled over again. He parked so he could still see the truck. The tow truck arrived in about 10 minutes, and the repair was made. Though Byrne followed the truck until it pulled up into a driveway of an old farmhouse, he turned into the next driveway and was about 1/4 of a mile farther away, or, quarter of a mile away. So he wasn't going to be satisfied until he talked to the young man with the southern accent. So the couple came to the door. When he got to the door, and he thought they were going to ask him to leave, but the young man came out and from another room wearing a thick white terry cloth robe and slippers. Byrne was surprised that this had happened within what he thought was 5 minutes. The young man asked the couple to let Byrne in. Byrne sat in a chair directly across from him and noticed he was still wearing sunglasses. The young man said, "You know who I am?" And Byrne felt like his heart was beating a million times a second. The strange thing is that Byrne didn't know who he was, so he didn't pick up on the voice as I did. So Byrne replied, "You sound like someone familiar, and you kind of look like the person I'm thinking of." Byrne felt fear, and he honestly thought he may not be able to leave alive. The young man leaned forward in his chair and said, "Who do you think I am?" And Byrne told him that he could pass for Elvis. In the most serious tone, the young man said, "Elvis is dead." He then asked Byrne to give his name and where he was from. He also asked Byrne if he knew Elvis had a twin brother who died at birth. Byrne replied that he thought he had heard that, but he didn't know his name. He was told it was Jesse. So the young man asked Byrne the date of his birth date, walked out of the room, and returned with a book, the Kairos Book of Numbers. And he sat down and pushed up his sunglasses and then removed them, paged through the book, and Byrne stayed a half hour listening to him quote things from the book. Byrne doesn't say how it came about that he left. Did Byrne say he had to leave, or did the young man say something so that Byrne knew he was to leave? Byrne walked to the door, turned, and said, "Are you him?" The young man once again said, "Elvis is dead, but would you please not tell anyone what happened this day?" So Byrne asked if he could visit again and if he could phone first, and he was told that there was no phone. He found out later there was. And Byrne didn't want to be a pest, so he waited a week to return, and the farmhouse was vacant. After that, Byrne didn't keep his promise to the young man, and he told someone about his experience, who told someone else, which resulted in Byrne being interviewed by the DJ in Shreveport, Louisiana. He didn't reveal everything that he discussed with the young man, and one of the things he must have not have revealed was the location and where it happened. So Byrne felt bad that the young man left without saying anything to him. He had a difficult time getting the incident out of his mind, and he thought about it every day and always wondered if it was Elvis. And one late night, Byrne received a phone call. It was a year from the day that Byrne stopped to assist the people standing by the truck. After talking for 20 minutes, he knew without a doubt that he was speaking to Elvis, and the man most people thought was dead. A friendship started that night, and that thrived to 2001. What has happened since the book and was published is unknown to me. Byrne could have died, but I am confident that if he is still alive, he and Elvis remain great friends. And I'm not quite sure who Byrne is, because it was a alias, so we do not know who Byrne is. I mean, I was thinking that it could be a possibility that Byrne could be the go-between for Linda, but we're not sure. And we don't know who the go-between is either, because she's never revealed it. Okay. All right, so Byrne tells everybody in the book that it was the truth, and that he believes most people will believe what is said in the book after they read it. And he also mentions the numerology, and that they were compatible in numerology as well. So also what's included in the book is a letter by Linda Felix Johnson, not to be confused by Linda Hood Sigmund. It's a different lady. All right. And she was part of the small group of friends. I think she was like the assistant to Dr. Hinton, or a co-worker of Dr. Hinton. And she said that Elvis, or Jesse Elvis, was very spiritual. He was born to sing and to entertain, and could not continue with the lifestyle he was leading. He changed the world of music and song forever, and as Jesse, he lived as he desperately needed to. He is gentle, caring, and spirit-filled man without fame and wealth. And he says the years of helping to care for him have been challenging and stressful, and this is a lie, because it is now known that she was not in the small group that helped him. She had been an effort to pass herself off as another Linda. She said she actually tried to convince people that she was Schumer, but she was not. Okay. So she adds, the small group of individuals who keep a secret for as so long is in itself a miracle. Linda says that Dr. Hinton is one of her best friends, and that her respect for him is endless. And she says it takes time for her to get back to being her. And she became somewhat reclusive when Dr. Hinton's book was published, and she looked forward to spending time again with her family and close friends. And she closes her letter with, God bless you, Jesse. And the last letter was dated January 18th, 2001, written by TJ, or Mr. C. Elvis mentions Mr. C in his book, but I still don't have it figured out who he is, other than to know that he is one of the small group of friends whom Elvis trusted. And TJ's is the initials that he had of his given name, and he lives in Ohio. All right. So he has known about Elvis Jesse since 1989. It was Elvis who called him to tell him the colonel had died, and he hopes that people will understand why Elvis did what he did after he read the book written by Dr. Hinton. He says he was very sick, and I guess he just couldn't take being the king any longer. He goes on to say that he has 100 plus letters written to him by Elvis that are kept in a bank safety deposit box. He was the guy Elvis asked to visit a cousin, David, in Michigan, and he says the only reason he wanted them to meet was to share some great memories. He wonders why God picked him from the millions of Elvis fans. He says it was a hot, sunny day in 1989 when he and his ex-wife, 2 children, and some friends went looking for John Burroughs. It seemed like everything fell into place and they met, and that's when his story began. And I wish he would have given us more detail. It would be nice to know where his search began and where it ended, and how long it took to meet Elvis, and where on earth did he get the idea in the first place. He must have been given a good clue, but by whom? Mr. C gives his testimony that everything Dr. Hinton writes in his book is true. He says he knows this because he is one who introduced his dear friend to Elvis. He doesn't name the friend, but he says over a period of time, she asked him if it was okay to tell the doctor about Elvis, and Elvis gave his consent. This friend apparently is Linda. Okay, so it could be a possibility, and I'm not quite sure. I'm going to actually pull out my book for a minute and see this and see if this was. No, it could be a friend. I mean, anyway. She goes, he is wrong about one thing. I am a true Elvis fan, but I don't know about any trash that was written about him. I suppose it's because I haven't read the books. However, I did read some of the weekly tabloids and saw something about Elvis on the front page. The only negative thing I remember is that some people made fun of his appearance, and I am betting many of those people who made fun of him have now packed on the pound and look worse than he did. Is this where the what goes around comes around statement comes from? He adds, Shuma, whose Linda Hood Sigmund is a gentle soul, and her husband Sloan, that's Tom, is a gentle giant. And the gentle giant was mentioned in the book, but I didn't know who it referred to until now. A person learns a lot if they only keep reading. The pieces to the puzzle finally fit together when he said, if Byrne hadn't trusted me, I wouldn't be in touch with Elvis Jesse, and Dr. Hinton would not have written the book. However, I still don't know who Linda Felix Johnson fits into the puzzle. She is a missing piece. Okay. It's nice to know how these people came to know each other. It also gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling knowing great friendships were developed with Elvis as a force behind it. Once again, Mr. C asks the readers to believe every word Dr. Hinton wrote is true. Dr. Hinton says, fate will determine how this book will be judged, but absolutely everything I have written is completely true. Jesse is alive and well, and this is not the end, but the beginning. So how was it judged? What happened after it was published? Sometime last month, June 2010, I did a Google search. I don't remember what I asked, but I found something interesting information, and now I will share it with you what happened, or at least some of what happened. I wanted to contact Dr. Hinton and Shuma. I was ready to share my story with them, and I was confident after reading this book that surely Elvis John Jesse would be okay with me writing Don't Cry Darlin. I sent emails to 2 addresses I had for Dr. Hinton and hoped he would reply. I didn't know Schuma's name, but I didn't know how, and so I didn't know how to locate her. After one night, I was feeling sorry for myself. My thinker changed gears. It had been on park too long. I signed the EIN once again. Nothing had changed. I decided enough is enough. I made a decision not to waste my time and brain power on something so meaningless. However, just before I signed out, I saw a posting from Shuma. Wow. One minute I got so excited, and the next, I just couldn't believe it. She said she wasn't going to be part of the discussions any longer, mainly because of my reasons for not wanting to read the nonsense. She said she had already removed her email address and was starting her own website, and I was totally disappointed because I so wanted to talk with her, and now I couldn't because I didn't know her name. A couple days later, I found a way to post a message, and I simply said something. Can anyone help me get in touch with Shuma? I have information that I know she would like to hear. I left my name, my email address, and a phone number. 2 days later, I received an email from the owner of EIN. He said he noticed my post and cautioned me about including my phone number and name. He thought I could be unnecessarily bothered by those who are regulars on the site. I told him I had thought of that, but hoped to avoid it. But that it was important to me to talk to Shuma, and I thanked him for his concern. In the meantime, I tried to contact her by other means. I wrote to her twice, and lo and behold, instead of my emails going to her, they ended up in my inbox. I certainly wasn't computer savvy. And that is the end of the chapter 4. Finally, 7 episodes we had to do. That because it covered that whole book. Well, we found out, and we will find out in the next chapter, who Shuma is. And we know that is Linda Hood Sigmund, because she admits it on her website. Okay, now I'm going to put Jim back on, and I'm going to put this down here for a minute. So we can see. And we can open the floor for some discussions.
You talk about Linda Felix Johnson. She is Dr. Hinton's receptionist, is who she was.
Right. Right. And I know she mentioned that she worked with him. I wasn't sure if she was like his assistant or secretary or
I'm
something on that
not,
idea.
not sure about that, but I know she was a receptionist at his office. I don't know. She might have been a nurse too. I don't really know. I don't know her.
Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes they can get medical assistants that do like multiple jobs. So
Yeah.
that's who I'm thinking. But anyway, we just finally finished the chapter. We're going to go to the next chapter. I know this was a long chapter, 7 episodes, but we got through it. All right. All right. Hi, Colleen. I said Jesse Elvis the birthday wish praying he gets all the messages. I'm sorry, Joy. I meant to tell you and everyone Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you. I did read Linda's site today. She sent all the messages to Jesse except for one. It was kind of weird information, or it was a weird structured thing. She said it didn't make sense, so she didn't send it. But other than that, everybody else she had sent, and she said she is sure that he will be very happy. Excuse me. Who was the Elvis handlers? Apparently, he answered to someone. It was the federal agents or the mob. I don't know. I'm assuming you're asking what who his security is. I think they're hired private security. I'm not sure if they're federal or whatever. We don't know. Well, no, he has security. I don't know if that helps you. Jim, that makes sense as to why Riley and the family did not attend Graceland. Right. And that also, Riley also has a very active life. So, I mean, she could be busy doing something with her acting as well. Probably spent time with family, I'm sure. We're hoping they were. Okay. You can tell that Jim doesn't feel good. Well, keep him in prayer. Okay. Yeah, I know. He was pretty sick today. I'm surprised he's on. Yes, he's 91. Elvis lives. Nan, we do not know who Byrne is. Byrne is an alien. We do not know. He did not want his identity released with the book. So we do not know. Have Jim talked it. As far as I know, he's doing okay. She hasn't heard from him. Hi, Mitchell. How are you tonight? Right. Oh, family member says he's doing fine. Okay. Thank you. It seems like more and more are being bought out. Do you think that he lives until 2027? This will all come out. We do not know. I think you're talking about the autopsy. I don't think that will ever get released.
No, it'll never be released publicly.
Right. But I also think that he does have plans to release a video when he dies, a DVD when he dies. It's supposed to be 8 minutes long or something like that, revealing everything.
That autopsy report, the family got that autopsy report. It's private. They don't have that shit saying it's going to be released in 50 years. That's bullshit. If it's released, it'll be because they release it. Because the government, the state, and the government ain't got nothing to do with the release of that damn autopsy report, and they're not going to release that.
Yeah, the family has to do it, and I don't think it will ever happen. Also, I think
when he did what he did in '77, nobody ever dreamed he'd be here this many years later.
right. Well, Linda Hood Sigmund has something on her site today. I think she had typed something out. Someone had put a video out about one of the people in the hospital, whatever, talking about the death report. Now he filled it out and so on, but we know for a fact that Jesse Elvis wrote out the top of his death report.
Yep.
And gave it to Gene Smith to give to Gail Brewer Giorgio, and he told her to have a handwriting and
You know, that's just like
professional.
that's just like the uh, it wasn't really an autopsy report, but the medical examiner's report. He filled that out in his own handwriting. Dr. Nick told him, fill that out, put the information in, and I'll have my secretary type it up and they'll file it with the state of Tennessee. Well, he gives it
Right,
to his secretary. Well, she didn't type shit up. She submitted it in his handwriting to the state.
right. And I think, I also the thing is, I think that Linda had some like excerpts from a book about how when the autopsy was done, they didn't even take pictures of his body or his face or anything, and they talked about that there was like weird things that were wrong with the body, like the teeth were bashed in and it looked like there was a tube that went down in the throat, and that would have been like life support. Nose was bleeding, different things like that. And you know most thing, I think it was also some type of they mentioned something like there was an incision that went down in his chest. He had heart heart surgery. Well, Elvis at that time did not have heart surgery. He
Nope.
did not have those scars. And so a lot of the medical professionals in the hospital itself did not even believe it was him because it wasn't. He had a body switch. He switched his body with somebody else. They also said it looked thin. It didn't look like his weight. Like if you were to look at a picture of him like a few hours before and then you look at the picture of the body in the hospital, it was thinner because he was a cancer patient, the guy that
That's like
died.
that's like the old man that worked at Baptist Memorial. He wasn't an old man then, but he worked at Baptist Memorial, and he was the man that worked on like defibrillators and heart monitors and all that stuff. Old Mac, I've talked to him. He was standing outside the emergency room when they brought supposed Elvis's body in, and he told me, he said that body on that gurney was not Elvis Presley. He said, first off, he said whoever the man was they brought in had been dead a while. He said his skin was black as black. He said he was already turning black when they brought him in. He said, and he didn't look nothing like Elvis. None of that. He said he was a big old fat gobby guy. Said he had fat hanging off of him and everything else. He said it wasn't Elvis.
Yeah. I think the only thing that looked like Elvis was the face because he had plastic surgery. Other than that,
Old Mac told me at lunchtime that evening. He said he went to the cafeteria to eat lunch. He said there was two emergency room doctors in there, and he said they both told him that they couldn't talk about it, but he said they did tell him that wasn't Elvis they brought in. He
yeah.
said doctor told him that we didn't treat Elvis Presley. He said, matter of fact, he said we was people in the emergency room was made sign non-disclosure affidavits. Keep their
Right.
mouth.
Right. Mitchell says he's praying for you, Jim.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I'm doing okay. I'm a little stuffy, but I'm doing okay. But I'm always stuffy every winter anyway. I think it's the heat. All right. Hi, Lisa. Uh, as far as I know, I do not know if she's still alive or not. I know in the early 2000s, she only looked like she was in her 30s or 40s, so she might be. I don't know. I know Dr. Hinton is still alive, so I'm not sure about Linda Felix Johnson. Do you think Elvis Jesse thinks about how very relevant he is still today? His music is going strong and continues to grow every day. New epic movie releasing in February. He is so loved. Yeah, I think he knows that he's still very relevant,
Yeah.
and he knows he's very loved, and he gets a lot of letters when the letters to Jesse's open. You know, he gets a lot of letters of well
I
wishing
was,
and stuff.
I was looking at Linda's page the other day and all the messages that people wrote on her for him. Well, it was just oodles and gobs of it. I looked at the old lady and I said, well, hell, he got 6 months of reading material there. He'll be happy. He likes to read.
Yeah, and I think he likes to hear from the fans. He really does. He knows he's loved, and that's all that counts.
You know,
I
last year,
We don't know
last,
about the movie, but I think he probably will really like it when it comes out. I'm gonna say he's gonna watch
that's like
that movie.
that's like year before last Christmas. I got that voice message from him, and in that voice message, he mentioned the fans in there just as much as he talked about mine and his relationship. His fans mean the world to him.
Right. I know that I'm sure that he's looking forward to that new movie coming out in February, as that's like digitally remastered concert footage from like 1972. Um, yeah, he's gonna like it. I'm sure Linda will. somehow, some way get it to him, or he'll see it, I'm sure. You're doing well, Vinny. Well, yeah, he had to take care of himself. Maybe the family was afraid they would slip up and say Elvis Jesse's alive. Right. But I mean, like, I'm gonna say that I mean, just this is telling here. This is just the other day. When did he say? He didn't say he would be or would have been. He said he
19 years old, and today he's 91.
today he's 91. He is 91. That's present tense. Yeah, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, he talked about him in present tense. He didn't talk about him in past tense.
right, right. So Elvis lives exactly. That's right. You can and you will continue praying for you. He says he will keep praying for you, Jim.
Well, thank you, Mitchell. Or
Wish we could send him lots of loves and hugs. Right. And if you guys had written your well wishes, you could have sent him lots of loves and hugs. I'm sure he would have enjoyed it. reading about those. But yes, he knows. All right. I'm praying for everyone here, and I pray Jim will stop smoking. Jim, you need to stop smoking, she said. I know it's your choice.
yeah, it's just
You beat
harder.
horrible cancer. My ex has it, but it's in remission. Awesome.
People,
Awesome.
people, people that don't smoke don't understand. Cigarettes is the worst drug on the planet. It's the most addictive. It's worse than cocaine and everything else.
Yeah, I had a boss who had cancer, and she tried quitting before she became cancerous, obviously. And she tried quitting, and she had to get a patch, and she quit for a while, and all of a sudden, something triggered or stress or whatever. She went right back on it. It's very hard to quit. And both my grandparents and my father quit cold turkey, and it was very hard. But they did it.
Yeah.
But it was very hard. Hi, Michelle. How are you tonight? I hope everything's going well with you and your foot and everything. That's all right. No problem. Yeah, I believe Mitchell has. I don't know if Mitchell is in contact with Elvis, but I know that he encountered him and his family, like cousins. Yeah. You would have had, Vinny, you would have had to go on the Linda Hood Sigmund's message board, but she just closed it on his birthday. So you'll have to catch up somehow. Did Elvis see his birthday cake and Jerry cutting the cake? I don't know. He might have watched it on TV, but I don't know. We don't know what he sees and what he doesn't see. It wasn't on TV. You would have been watching it online, probably. Maybe Riley and the twins went to visit him instead of Graceland. Yeah, I think he did. I know they spent time with him on his birthday. Probably. Jerry Schilling just spilled the beans, and I think it was on purpose to get us prepared to reveal that he is alive. Well, I know that, like I said, Priscilla had said the same thing, like on his 87th birthday, that he's alive and living there. And I mean, I think this is a big flub up right here. I'm just going to repeat these because I had opened with these and not everybody was on.
distant at all. I think that our relationship, it's emotional to see him, to hear his voice.
It's emotional to see him and hear his voice. This is Riley. All right.
You know, me and my mom and our whole family, wherever he is.
Wherever he is. Don't forget, he would move around a lot. When he was found, when he was recognized, they would move. All right. You got that right. It seems like more than I need. I quit more. I need more. All right. So Mitchell's having the same problem you are, Jim. I'm okay. Keeping as positive as you can. That's the only thing you can do. Just trust in God. Just keep trusting in Him.
Mitchell's right. Quitting cigarettes is one of the hardest things on the planet because, like I said, I believe that's more addictive than any other substance.
Yeah. Yeah, very hard. I know my grandfather and my grandmother both quit cold turkey. My father did too. He said it was very hard. Shoot a lot of guns, said, and
it's hard for me because I've been smoking since I was 12 years old.
Yeah. Wow. Good for you, Lisa. Quit smoke cold turkey 14 years. You could always try the patch, Jim, see if that helps, or maybe vaping.
I've already been down that route with the patches. Them patches ain't that great. Didn't work for me.
I think they also have tablets now too, or something, pills, and they have all kinds of ways to try to quit. Smoked in the past, but I lost so many family members and little brother, and that was it for me. I quit cold turkey 5 years ago. I do understand, Jim, and I'll keep you in my prayers. Yes. I actually know someone, Jim, who smoked and smoked and smoked, and he was a Christian, devout Christian, and he was struggling and struggling and struggling to quit. And one day Jesus just touched him and got rid of his addiction right then and there. So sometimes Jesus can heal you of your addiction if you just ask. Right then and there, he said. I've seen this later. Okay, no problem. Enjoy your dinner. Wow, congratulations, Carol.
I told this morning I have to figure it out.
I used 2 packs a day and I quit with the help of God. I give him the credit. In 1996, I quit. Praise God. Because I wanted a cigarette all the time, 24/7. Got up in the middle of the night 3 times to smoke. Wow. And guess what? She quit with the help of God. Well, thank God for that, Pamela. Good job. Praise God. It was hard for him to stop. Yeah, a lot of people have a hard time with it. I love how Jesse Elvis is still letting his fans know that he's still with us. Right. And he was doing it. He was doing it since the day he basically passed on. He gave us music behind the scenes, movies behind the scenes, little special albums here and there, under different aliases behind the scenes. Yeah. Would love to show Jesse sing and play guitar. Oh. Right.
He left a lot of clues too.
Yeah. Nan wants to know how many packs a day you smoke, Jim.
Do what?
Nan wanted to know how many packs a day you smoke.
3 or 4 packs a day.
Wow!
I smoke a lot.
Mitchell says it makes him want to smoke a cigarette. Sorry. Cigarette cannabis smoking is even more addictive. Yeah.
Nah, cannabis don't affect me like that. I can smoke marijuana, and I can quit that anytime. It don't bother me to quit that. The damn cigarettes is the one that's bad. That damn nicotine's hard to quit.
Oh, I bet. I think, you know what? I think the best way to do it probably, Jim, would be little by little, cut down a little bit each
Yeah.
time and just cut down and just pray through the urges and then vape, do your vaping and then slowly just wean yourself off. I think that's hard, but you could do it. I know you could probably do it. It's hard. I still want one every day, but I quit cold turkey. And congratulations, Carol. I am glad. I am proud of you. Yes, I know your challenges, Vinny. I've heard some of their music. Huh?
I even smoke a vape. I even smoke a vape pen some, but
And it still doesn't help. Well, it must help a little. She said, drink tea? Okay. Marijuana is highly addicted and it alters judgment. Right. But I know a lot of people use it for pain as well. And they use it prescribed.
that's one of the best. That's one of the best treatments for pain out there.
Right. Jim, I was like that. A chimney. I was like a chimney. My sons used to go mad at me, and I would be coughing up my lungs. My husband used to say, I said smoke signals from my bed, and they kept on at me all the time to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, cigarettes don't alter your judgment. Well, that's true. Sorry, Jim, I was picking on you. We want the best for you, and it's your choice, Jim. That's expensive from what I hear. Cigarettes are almost $10 a pack. Whew!
Yeah, I don't pay $10. I don't pay $10 a pack. I buy my tobacco by the pound, and I roll my own cigarettes. They don't have no additives and none of that bull crap that they put in store bought cigarettes. Stuff I smoke's all natural. So
Yeah, and it's hard. I think my father smoked a pipe for years. He finally had to quit. He coughed up blood, and that was it. And then he had like a permanent cough the rest of his life.
And as far as about marijuana impairing your judgment, it don't impair nothing on me. I don't get no effect like that from it. I don't get a high off of it or nothing. All it does for me is when I smoke any marijuana, it kills all the pain I'm going through.
Right. Cigarettes is the worst addiction ever because you want one every minute of the day, every second. 5 years after I quit, I kept grabbing and looking for my pack of cigarettes. And then it dawned on me, Jesus delivered me. In the name of Jesus, it's gone. Yeah. All right. Yes, I think vaping has nicotine. I believe vaping has nicotine. That's why they don't allow teenagers to vape.
That vape pen I got's 5% THC. It's not that much, but there's THC in it.
Jim has one like this.
What you got to watch with vape pens is they're not good for you. I got a friend. His 16-year-old son was vaping. Well, his lung collapsed. He coughed a hole in his lung, and his lung collapsed. And the doctor told his dad, "The vape pen's what's causing that. It's not good for your lungs at all."
Yeah. I mean, they thought, oh, it's safer than cigarettes, but really it's...
No, it ain't safer than cigarettes either.
Cigarette, hand in hand, coffee and a cup of tea and a cigarette. All right. Anyway. Amen to this. My mom smokes a carton a week. Oh, yeah. Hi, Mary. How are you tonight? Nice to see you. Nicotine gum. Well, yeah, they could try. Anything. Here's the thing. Stop smoking. Correct. But, what I'm saying is a lot of people, they're so addicted to it, they can't stop. Even my boss who went on like the patch, she was so addicted, she stopped for a little while and picked it right back up after she got a stressful moment at work. Stopped smoking in 2004 and made up to do it, and I did it. And I feel a lot better since I quit. Yeah. And eventually, some people will. Parents that smoke weed and they never quit. It's because it's addictive, just like cigarettes, and that don't smoke weed for pain. They do it recreational. Yeah. I'm thinking that a lot of people that do the, like, I think the treatment for pain might be a little different. It's prescribed and might be not as addictive or something. Who knows? I don't know. Yeah. I think I had my guardian angel with me when they got so expensive. I couldn't afford what I liked. So I said, to buy, lose, and I couldn't one save my life. And I had a weed machine that done them. No problem, Sarah. How are you tonight? The year celebration at Graceland was the worst I've ever seen. All right. I don't know. I didn't like the cake this year. It was kind of Let's talk Elvis. Just yeah, let's do that. Well, anyway, so like I said, I think on Linda's site today she was talking about the because it was a video out, I guess like a clickbait video. I've seen a couple of those, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Eva on that. This video is about Elvis not smoking.
Right. And I think when I do talk about stuff like that, sometimes the videos get tagged or something, and I have to edit them out. So, and I have to wait till tomorrow to edit anything else. So anything that shows up that's wrong with the video, I have to wait 24 hours. I'm sure wherever Jesse is, Elvis is flirting with a nurse and having a good time. Maybe. I don't know. I agree. Right, let's get back on topic. He's trying to help Jim. But this is more Elvis, not nicotine show. We pray for Jim and God did it for me. So let's stop talking about smoking. Yeah, let's do it. All right. So I think that I think birthday cakes are always weird and more like traditional. Yeah, and they always have them designed as some type of record or whatever. I don't know. This year's kind of was ugly. I don't know. It's just weird. Sending lots of love to dear Jesse. Yeah. Why is Elvis tape? I have no idea why it's only 8 minutes, but I guess it's going to be a lot to talk about in 8 minutes. Quite a long check. Well, maybe he figured he covered a lot already in some other sources like his book and stuff. Maybe it's just more advanced, or who knows. Anyway, seeing your videos. He saw one of my videos that I know of, and that was the real life encounters with Jim. I think it's because Linda had the picture Jim had given. Jim got a picture from Jesse Elvis through Linda, and Jesse put Linda and Tom's name on the back. And she saw it, she put it on her website. So I think he has a video of that particular episode. I don't know if he sees it any other time or if he sees it at all on the channel. Yes, he did receive your wishes and your notes. I think she said she had read them all, and I think she only had to throw one out because it wasn't, I don't know, it didn't make sense or something. She said it wasn't pertaining to his birthday or whatever. Anyway, she said it was hard to read, didn't make sense. Other than that, everybody, your birthday wishes. We're getting them soon. I watched a video the other day with Donna's Elvis's cousin. Someone asked her if Elvis ever allowed smoking in Graceland, and I remember correctly, she said no, and it always smelled good. I don't know about that because I know that Elvis liked
That's
the
that's baloney.
cigarillos.
That's baloney because he smoked them little cigars and he did it at Graceland too.
Yeah, inside. And also, I believe a lot of other people did, and including his father. His father smoked, and from what I
Oh yeah,
understand, most of the family smoked.
old Vernon, he smoked like a chimney.
Yeah, I think that was the thing back then. It was
Yeah.
kind of like, you know, say it again, worst celebration ever they had. Well, I'll have to look at it. I know last year's was not that great.
I didn't.
Why did Priscilla O'Reilly wasn't at Graceland for his birthday? Okay, so I know Priscilla hasn't been at Graceland since Lisa Marie died. That I know. I don't think she does anything for EPE anymore or anything. I think she's on her own. Riley probably was with her grandfather or busy with something else. She is a Hollywood actress, so and a mom. So the possibility they were with him on his birthday. We don't really know.
And as far as Prissy being there, I don't think too many people in that family want her there. So I
Right,
think
but
she stayed away from there.
I don't think that she's working for them anymore.
Well,
Like I said, after Lisa Marie died, she didn't have any part in anything,
and
really.
th- and things had really got hard on Prissy since they started that investigation in California about Lisa's the way she died.
Yeah, I heard about that too. I'm sure he has a lot to cover in 8 minutes, a short of time. Yeah, and I'm not quite sure exactly what he has to present, but I'm sure it'll be enough, of an interview to get quite a bit. So hopefully, you know. Good evening, Bren. Have a great day, a great night. Yeah. I really don't know what they will do. Probably flip out. Or they won't do anything and they'll just pretend go with the myth. Who knows? He makes cakes. They're beautiful. I love this year's cake. I wonder what bakery does that and how long it takes to do our cakes. Ours. I'm not sure. It must be some type of bakery in Memphis, that does it. Or yeah, Memphis. I'm not sure. Yeah, Elvis smoked those little cigarelli thingies. They're like
Yeah,
cigar type things. We're not sure exactly if he smoked completely or if he just puffed on them, but like
I
to
don't think
smoke them.
I don't think he actually inhaled them. I think mostly what he did just smoked on because he liked the taste of them.
Donna Presley tells so many things that aren't true. It's like she makes things up as she goes along. And I'm thinking that's probably what it is too. She's running a channel and all that stuff, and she's doing her own thing. It's just like the Smiths, Billy Smith. They have their own Memphis Mafia. What is it, Mafia Kid or something? So they do their own
Yeah,
channel.
that bunch you're talking about, Billy Smith and all them, they're nothing but paid liars, is what they are.
Yeah. And the possibility that they could be paid by EPE to get the to
Exact,
to
exactly.
to divert the attention that Elvis is living.
I think EPE compensates him to keep a narrative going.
Right. They have they're also underneath NDAs, or not, and yeah,
Yeah.
non-disclosure agreements. Who is Linda that they're all speaking about giving Elvis notes? Oh, all right, Linda Hood Sigmund. Hi, Eileen. It's a good question. Okay, so in his book, he has a woman named Shuma, who is actually Linda Hood Sigmund. And she has a website that he contacts her quite often and gave her all kinds of information and gifts and everything to prove his identity and the stories. And she's a very close friend of his. She's been his friend for 33 years.
And myself, I think she's related because her maiden name is Hood, and that was his grandma
Yeah.
Minnie maiden name, Hood.
She could be like a distant cousin, but
Yeah.
anyway, this is her website. You can go on there and look at all the information that she has, based on from this book. And she also has letters written from Jesse to herself and to Dr. Hinton, for his book. And she discussed his book. She discussed everything that goes on, what has happened since the book came out, and everything. Right. I don't think Priscilla would be nowhere around anything for Elvis, right? Niblin Sigmund, right? Correct. Priscilla was at Lisa's book presentation in 2024, and I was there. So who really knows? I think that obviously she is around with, Riley and the twins and all that kind. She is a grandmother. So I'm not sure she's in touch with Jesse Elvis anymore. That I don't know. There's a DVD that Jesse Elvis has told Linda Hood Sigmund about, that he says there's about 8 minutes that will come out when he officially dies. It will explain everything and has, I guess, evidence that he's who he is and so on. I hope that helps. I don't know if it will come out, but you know. Linda is still dealing with her aging, her fibromyalgia pain, arthritis pains, eye issues, or something like that. Tom, I think, just had eye surgery. He's doing well. The go-between is still kind of in between, I think, the assisted living and home, or a nursing home and home. I'm not quite sure. I know he's dealing with some type of illness that she doesn't say. But as far as I know, he is able to contact her and is still in contact with Jesse, and his wife is home. So I'm assuming they work together on that. I hope that helps. Linda has done a little bit more typing than normal this week. So I think it goes week by week. She's doing the best she can. Priscilla is his ex-wife, and they were divorced since 1972. Right. But also, she was a mom, Lisa Marie, and she was in contact with him, and obviously has kind of spilled the beans quite often in her videos, especially the one where she's at Oprah Winfrey, and she says, and we were just talking about that the other day, type of thing. But I don't know about the relationship now. I don't know if it's still strained or if they're still friends. No, don't know anything. But she's giving out a lot of hints recently, that he's still around.
I've been trying to send Mitchell a message and it won't let it go through. Well, if you're listening, Mitchell, if you're listening, send me a Facebook request. I got some stuff I want to share with you.
Right, yeah. Mitchell goes by, yeah, I think Mitchell's going by, I think his name is Mitchell Matthews, I think, on Facebook. I
Yeah.
know he messages me quite often.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very interesting and very long and so much reading. And she's got 2 separate sites, so, you know, it can be very long. Anyone know where Dr. Hinton is these days? He's in Missouri. He's still a psychiatrist, but I'm not sure where.
Yeah, he's in Kansas City, Dr. Hinton is.
Yeah. I
I'll
heard
say,
he moved, but I'm
I'll
not
say,
sure.
I'll say the Kansas City area because there's a lot of little towns up there. He could be in any one of them, but he's in the Kansas City area is where he's at.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully they will get better. It's aging stuff, you know? We do not know. I don't think he ever remarried. I hope that helps you. As far as I know, he's single right now. She might know more, but he's not allowed to say anything. His private life is his private life. So, as far as I know, he's single. That's all I know. He said he's tried sending you messages as well.
That's the name you go by, Mitchell Matthews?
I think so. Hold on a minute. Let me check. I know. Well, actually, I can't say that because when he sends me stuff on Facebook, it's not my personal messenger, it's my business messenger, and he's under a different name for some reason. They don't change. They can change it.
Take a screenshot of his profile so I know who I'm looking for, you know.
He says yes, it's going by Mitchell Matthews on Facebook.
When you get time, Joey, just take a screenshot of, you know, his main page, got his name, you know, his profile picture and stuff, and send it to me, then I'll know what I'm looking for.
I think he's also a member of the group, I think. If I
Yeah.
remember correctly. So you can look him up there. I know he's a member of the group. If not, he does follow the page on Facebook as well. The man is alive. The man is alive. Lives in Kansas City. It's a big place in a lot of little towns. Yes. Okay. Well, it's getting late. It's 9:21, so we've been on for an hour and 21 minutes, and I'm going to sign off, and you guys have a great night. We'll be back on next Saturday, unless something else happens, and I'll let you guys know. With chapter 5, we're going to do a chapter about Linda Hood Sigmund, or Shuma. All right. So I'm going to finish off with Reconsider Baby, you know, first verse. And you guys have a good night. God bless y'all. Bye.
Well, so long. Oh, how I hate to see you go. Well, so long, baby. Oh, how I hate to see you go. Well, the way that I will miss you, child, I guess you'll never know. You said you once said love me, but now I guess you've changed your mind. You said you once said love me, yeah, but now I guess you've changed your mind. I'm gonna let you go ahead on home now, baby. Pray that you come back home sometime.